Are we on the air?
You're now in the mix with The Corner Radio, hosted by Kill, banging nothing but classic hip-hop, soul, and R&B.
What's good, what's good, what's good? You tune into The Corner Radio. It's your man, Kill. Got my people on deck with me today. I got my man, Yaw. What's going on, fam?
What's good, baby? How you, Kill?
Man, everything is everything, man. I got my brother, Ev. What's good, man? I ain't seen you in a minute up here.
Blast from the past, baby. Blast from the past. I'm man, good. How you?
And that Gray coming in, bro. That Gray coming
right? In. See it, right? Don't have no kids, cuz. Don't have no kids.
Nah, I feel you. But y'all already know what it is. We're gonna always jump right into it. But one thing, one of the things I do in the neighborhood where I work at is I teach a men's class every Wednesday. Kind of just, a support group for men where, cats could come together and kind of talk about issues and give advice to each other and everything like that. And every week, I got a lesson plan ready. It's always sports oriented, and I somehow find a way to mix in sports and real life and everything like that. But before I get started with any class, I always start it off with, is anybody going through it? Because if anybody's going through something, that definitely trumps whatever lesson plan I got on tap. That can wait for later. And when I spoke to Ev earlier today, he was just talking about these murders that are going on, man. And I mean, it's crazy. It's bananas. It's when we first did the Writers Bench. Our first episode of Writers Bench was on Trayvon Martin. A year later, it's when Ferguson happened. So it's like we've done shows, plural, about this, and we've touched on what could hip hop do to, what are the celebs not doing, what are they doing, and everything like that. And more than anything right now with these two killings, I mean, back to back, like it was like 48 hours. We've lost two black men. People have lost fathers, people have lost husbands. I just want to know, how are y'all dealing with it? How are y'all getting through this? If you're getting through this, maybe tips to share on how you're getting through this. I was on Twitter the other day, and some people were saying, stop tweeting out the video, and other people saying, nah, tweet out the video, put it in everybody's face. And I sent out a tweet that basically said, yo, do whatever you need to do to keep your sanity. So if tweeting out that video helps you keep your sanity from going out here and trying to do something crazy, or if that helps you do what you got to do to keep yourself right. Don't let anybody tell you what to do, what not to do. We got to keep ourselves together. So, Ev, why don't you, what are your feelings? What are you doing? Are you coping? How are you coping?
I'm being honest, man. It's not too much I can really touch on the topic because it's so, it shattered me in a sense. The whole thing of, it's what's happening, but it's also the thing of you're seeing, like before, it's like that this is happening. You hear about the stories, you hear about the deaths, and you hear about it in the past tense of a sense. In this situation, you actually see this brother transition from life to death, and that's a serious thing to see. And it's jarring, but it's real. It's the reality. It's what's happening, and I think that I'm part of the group that's like, people need to see this to see what's really going on, because it's one thing to hear about it past tense, somebody got killed by a cop, but to actually see it happen in real time it puts a whole different perspective. And it hurts, man. It's painful. I have law enforcement in my family too, so it's like I'm looking at it from both sides of the fence, and I'm a father of a son, so it's a couple different perspectives that I'm looking at, but it's for me, it's a little too raw to really get into it, because I'm still processing and trying to find my stability and my structure in it as we sit here today, because it's still very raw.
Right. What about you, Yaw?
Man, I've been taking a lot of deep breaths today. Cried this morning when I woke up and saw what happened in Minnesota last night. It's tough for me to deal with this morning, man. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely, it was tough for me yesterday, but this morning I broke down. It was a lot for me to take when I was processing everything that happened. It's just tough being a black man in America, man. It really is. Like, in every sense of the word, like being black, just being born black in this country is one of the biggest hurdles any person can face in life. Cops, law enforcement are snatching lives in an instant for the most petty of things, for selling CDs, selling cigarettes, not really harming anybody, just, breaking the law, but not harming anyone. And it's just difficult to see. Like I was telling Kill earlier, I said I haven't been pulled over in like 10 years, but today, every time I heard the siren, my chest got tight. You know what I mean? Like, every time I saw a cop, I was just like, angry. When I saw a white person today, I was a little bit angry. I had the same feeling when I saw 7 Year Slave. When I walked out of the theater, I was just, for whatever reason, just angry at white people. And listen, for my white friends, I have plenty of white friends. My friends are watching this. I mean, you have to understand where we're coming from. Like, y'all don't have to go through that on a daily basis, watching your back every moment for people that are supposed to be protecting and serving you. You don't have to watch your back, look over your shoulder for people who are trying to get you. I mean, people being pulled over for taillights and then getting blasted in front of their girlfriends and stepchildren in the back seat. Like, I am really thankful that the advances in technology have allowed us to really shed light on this for real and put it right in people's faces to see it, because we had always heard the stories and we'd always known low key, like you mentioned, Av, but seeing it, I see there's been a little bit of a shift when people have seen it. Like, even with the Mike Brown, well, we didn't really see it. We heard the noises. We heard there wasn't actual video of the shooting, but this is in your face, and people are seeing it. I'm seeing it. I haven't really seen all the people on Facebook with the All Lives Matter, you know what I mean, as opposed to the Black Lives Matter. A lot of All Lives Matter has been shut down because now you're seeing it. Now you're seeing it full frontal, and you can't escape it because it's everywhere. Everywhere you go, it's everywhere. People are talking about it. It's on the papers, on the cover of the Daily News this morning. Oh my gosh, what a graphic picture they put up there. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but check it out. And yeah, I mean, and that's New York City, the number one media market in the world. So I'm just, like I said, I'm thankful because everybody is getting to witness what's really going on in the world. Now, I'm not sure if it'll change anything. Not sure if these cops will be exonerated. I'm not even sure if they'll even go to trial. But, I'm not sure what the next step is, man. I really don't. You could try peace, you could try war. None of it has really manifested into anything, substantial. So, just got to try to keep fighting and just try to stay safe, man. Try to stay safe. That's all I can say. Just try to stay safe, man.
Hey, if I can add on to that for a second, Kill, just in solidarity with what the brother's saying, man. I've seen many movies. I'm not a crier like that, but when I seen this, man, I broke. I just broke. And I think there's a thing inside of that. We're seeing this thing, the reality is hitting, and it's breaking us, emotionally. It's breaking some of us physically. It's breaking others of us psychologically. And it's a deep thing. And you sit there and you're like, well, what can we do? This is happening. What can we do? And we really I don't have an answer. The only thing I did think about today is every black male I know, I need to call. I need to check in. If I see brothers on the street, I'm at a point where yo, what do you need? What can I do to assist you to make your day better? Because ain't nobody, it's not that there's no one looking out for us, because we have our families, we have our friends and things like that, but no one can really understand the mind of a black man like a black man in America. There's no one that can relate to it. There are people that can try, but there's no one that can really relate to it unless you're a black male in America. And I just think it's a tough place to be in.
Right. I feel you. And I think for me, it's one of those things where I almost to the point the Philando cat out in Minnesota, I couldn't even finish watching the video. I didn't want to watch it. You know what I mean? And
same here.
It got to a point where when they had handcuffed this girl, that I just was I'm done. I don't need to see anymore. I know what's happening. And I think for me, the way I don't know how I cope with it, because I maybe it's the pessimist in me. I just don't know how anything gets better, because we've protested, we've marched, we've done everything. And to me, these two deaths are the worst ever, because we're seeing them. You know, it's in your face. So it's not like we can, and y'all both know me, I don't argue opinions. Let's argue facts. We can go back and forth about opinions, but as far as debating and arguing, the facts are things aren't getting any better. So I have no idea whatsoever that we can do. I mean, some of my people have hit me on Twitter like, yo, how can you be tweeting about your mixtapes when this is going on? And I'm like, bruh, I can't, my brain can't take all that. I need to get away from that. Trust me, don't ever think I don't care. I mean, a quick story, I think, have I told you, I'm not sure about you, yeah, about 2 years ago, I'm in Philly. This is like a week after Ferguson. I'm on the highway in Philly. Cop pulls me over. You know, I'm like, oh, guy, you gonna hit me with the speeding joint? I'm like, he's like, yo, you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, nah, why? He was like, you exited the expressway without using your turn signal. Right then, I knew I'm going to jail. I know right now, my brain is already racing as to it's just me and my daughter. So what happens to Naomi? If you pull me over and you arrest me, who gets my daughter? That's, you know, what happens? And he comes to the car and he's just like, you know, so where are you coming from? And it shocked me because I'm so used to being, you know, license and registration. It was like, yo, where are you coming from? I'm like, you know, I'm coming from my friend's house in the Northeast. Oh, well, what you doing in the Northeast? I mean, it just became like, well, why were you in the Northeast? I'm like, oh, well, my best friend lives out there. You know, my kid was playing with his kids. But where you going now? Like, I'm going down South Street, sir. You know, well, what's down South Street? I'm like, another one of my friends, you know, who has his daughter, and we're getting our daughters together. And he was just like, well, you see a Maryland tag, you come out of town when you come into town. And I'm like, you know, I'm trying to, yes sir, no sir, you know, hey, I came in about 3 days ago. Well, when you going back? I'll probably go back in a couple of days. And then he was like, well, I'm asking you a real serious question. You have any guns in the car? And I'm like, no sir, I don't have any guns in the car. I got my daughter with me. We good. He was just like, I mean, this literally went on for at least an hour. You know, this interrogation. And it eventually came back to the car and said, I'm asking you one more time. Are there any guns or any drugs in this car? And I said, no, sir, there's nothing. And he looked at Naomi, he looked at me, he looked at Naomi, he looked at me, he looked at Naomi, he looked at me, and then he was like, have a good day. And then he followed me for like another good 5 to 8 miles. You know what I'm saying? Through North Philly. And then when he finally left, I just pulled over and just broke down. And Naomi's like, you know, Daddy, what's wrong? And at that time, 2 years ago, I said this. I said, if I had a son, I feel like I would have to explain this to him. But since I have a daughter, and this is only happening to black men, then I don't. But then things like Sandra Bland happen. You know, and now I realize, like, we keep talking about black men, but it's black women too now. You know, and it's that shift in my mindset of, wow, now I have to talk to Naomi about it. I have to talk to her. You know, 2 years ago, I was like, man, I'm glad I ain't got no son, you know. But now you got to talk to your kids about this. You know, everything was just, I never got irritated. I didn't want to give this man any reason whatsoever to either arrest me, beat me, or kill me in front of my daughter. So I always tell people, you know, when things like this go on, I may send a tweet, I may say something, but I'm going to keep doing what I do because I can't say I've been part of it, but that was the closest to me that I thought that something would happen to me. You know what I mean? So for me, I dig into the music, man. I just dig in. I put on my headphones and try to zone out and try not to think about it. Like, I don't even want to see no more videos. You know, like, if God forbid the next one, I don't even want to see it. I can't see it anymore because once you see it, it's in your brain. It's in your brain. You know? So I'm just at the point now where I don't want to see no videos. I don't want to hear Rosenberg talk about it. I don't want to hear anything. I was just
telling my girlfriend, I was like, yo, could you stop playing this shit, please? Because I was like, it's killing me. I can't focus. I don't want to hear none of the commentary anymore. I've dealt with it emotionally already the whole day. Like, I want to get away from that. So
right. So like I said, just wanted to talk about that. But on the hip hop side of things, had a conversation with my man the other day on Twitter. We was talking about Outkast. He said Andre 3000 was overrated. He said he wasn't even in his top 25. I'm like, bruh, you're killing me here. He's not in your top 25. I mean, I get you not rocking with Cass, but man, not even your top 25. And it was a whole bunch of back and forth, and of course, people were jumping in like, "Man, you bugging? You don't know hip hop 3000, this and that." And I said, "Well, you know what? There's some people who I know people who have them in their top 3 MCs who I feel is not that dope." Now, let me say this first too. One of my thesis statements. I personally, for speaking for myself, I'm not calling any of these people I'm about to name whack. I'm not saying they're whack. I'm not saying they can't rhyme. I'm just saying that where some people have them placed, in my opinion, it doesn't warrant that. So, Ev, we talking about it all. Any overrated albums, producers, MCs, anything.
Come back to me. Just give me, because I'm still in that space. I'm trying to transition out a little bit.
All right, no doubt. Yeah, what about you? You good?
Honestly, so people are going to be really upset with me. People are going to be really, really upset with me. Okay. Tupac Shakur is overrated to me.
You know what, bro? He's on my list too.
I mean,
on my list too.
I don't want, now let me not get things misconstrued here. He is one of the greatest artists who's ever walked the face of the planet. He's one of the greatest people who's walked the face of this planet as far as his mentality, his effect on life, black people, as a culture. So I'll put you like this. So whenever I go to Ghana, I'll never get this. I was like 22, and I'm driving up the road, and there's like they have like little shops, like their downtown area called Osu, and it's got the little roads and people selling paintings. And in 4 straight paintings, I saw it was Muhammad Ali, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Tupac. Those are the 4 that were out in the forefront. So that just lets you know the impact that he had on the world. Music, I think I think he has timeless songs. I think he's one of the greatest MCs who's ever done it as far as his impact and how he affected people with his music. But when it comes to technical skill of rapping, I just don't think he's in the hierarchy of rappers. I don't think he's in with the Nas's, the Jay-Z's, the clever wordplay, just the overall swagger on records, be able to change cadences, things like that. I just thought that he got a lot of credit for a lot of the songs that he made, more credit for the songs he's made as opposed to the actual skill of rapping, to me.
Bro, right now, and I agree with you 100%. Pac is definitely on my list. And again, same thing like you said. Pac the man is incredible. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I mean, Ev, I don't know if you remember that first episode of the Writers Bench about my brain, the name slips to me, but Trayvon Martin, and the first thing I said was, my first reaction was, "Where's Pac?"
Yeah, I remember that.
If Pac was alive, Pac would be there. Pac would be there in somebody's face. So Pac the man, I love him. When I watch interviews with Pac, I mean, if you talk about a master Pac was a motivator. To me, he was bigger than hip hop. He was bigger than music, but again, just like my man Yaw said, as far as the MC, like when people are like, who's better, Big or Pac, I'm totally lost in that argument. I feel like they're just two totally different. I guess like Yaw said with the wordplay, and again, this is no diss on Pac. Trust me, I done had the Mary J stands come at me. I had a Tribe stand come at me over the weekend. I'm not trying to get the Pac stands on me too. Great man. I'm just, again, just like Yaw said, I was never really thoroughly impressed with, let me rewind that back. Like you said, great songs. What Pac stood for, just the fact that Pac would not keep his mouth shut. He was going to talk to you how you felt. I mean, if you take all those interviews of Pac out, then I probably don't even consider Pac, anywhere in there. But it was those interviews. It was
the persona. The persona that he gave you, definitely.
It was everything. It was those. I just was watching something in the barbershop today about when he was asking about a cop dying and does he feel remorse for him? And it was like, that nigga don't feel remorse for me. So so Pac was just so much bigger than that, and I love that. I love Pac the man. I can't say I was ever in love with Pac the music, but
agreed.
That's just me. Another one of my MCs, man, Eminem. I think him is cool, but when certain people are like, "Yo, M is my number one," and I'm like, "Wow, like really? Like you're number one of like all time, like of everybody." And a lot, and I'm glad I have you two up here because you're both MCs. A lot of times, what I've found is a lot of MCs are like always saying M is in their top three, definitely in their top three. Some say they're number one, and I'm like, okay, well, cool. Maybe it's like, yeah, like you said, you're always gonna hear something that I don't hear because you're an MC. It's vice versa with me being a producer. So, I'm again not calling M whack, but I just don't see anything that I'm just like, wow, this dude deserves to be in the top 10, top 5, definitely not top 3. And the funny thing is, Ev, do you remember that video I sent you? It was this joint where I think it was all it was all a slaughterhouse, and they all were in their different. Joe was on the bridge in New York, and Crooked was with his crew, and Joel was in Brooklyn, and then at the end it ended with Royce and M in Detroit, and it's like M just rhyming for 15 minutes, and I sent it to Ev like, yo, this is crazy, this is crazy. That was like, yeah, no, not really. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? So for two MCs, what do you all think about M? Because like I said, it's always, and I don't take things as coincidences, it's always MCs who tell me M is so ill. Yeah, what are your thoughts on M?
No. If you told me M was in your top 3, I won't argue with you. I can't argue with you because as far as technically the way he rhymes, flows, different flows, the way he's able to make words rhyme that are not supposed to rhyme is something that I don't think he gets enough credit for. And I think a lot of people discredit him because he's always talking about murdering his wife, his fucked up life with his mother, da 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 da. I mean, he stays on the same topics. And he's kind of like that that quirky individual who just kind of thinks of things out of the ordinary. But every rapper has their thing, and that was his thing. But if you add that to his actual skill of rapping, I always equate it to this: if you throw a beat on and you in a cipher, this is how I really judge rappers. The albums, cool, songs, cool, impact, cool. But if I could throw you in a cipher and garner the reaction of like everybody in it with screw faces, and I think M will do that more than 99% of the rappers that have ever been on the mic. So that's what. But I totally get if you don't mess with M like that, because he's just not your cup of tea. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think as far as technical skill, there aren't too many people better.
All right, cool. M, you good?
Oh yeah, I'm good. M. Yeah, my thing with M is this. I agree with you. I think M is overrated. M is not in my top 3. He's not in my top 5. He might make my top 10. And the reason that I say that is that lyrically, M is definitely a lyricist. But to me, M's flaw is what I hear consistently. And I think it's only a couple tracks here and there where he doesn't have it. Like 8 Mile is one track that he didn't do this. He doesn't ride well. I think he does like what Lauren's doing right now. You try to put too much into the verse because you want it to be so captivating. But part of being an MC is you have to be inside of that beat. And to me, he never really rides well. And that's one of the things that I discredit from him. The reason why he's not in my top 3 or my top 5. Now, subject matter, I'm not always crazy about his subject matter. When he gives you, when he gives me a subject matter that I like, he kills it. But it's not too many things that he killed for me personally. So like the Cypher joint is probably the last M that I liked. The joint, the BET Cypher Awards. So that verse he spit was dope. But that joint he did with Royce the 5'9" and because his ride was all over the place. And my thing is like, you can give me a lot of words, but at the same point in time, it's not Def Jam poetry. Like, you got to be inside the beat for me. And if you're not inside the beat, that's a tactic of an MC that I'll take away.
Now, Ev, let me ask you a question, Ev. Because of that particular verse was a cappella. So I mean, essentially, now Now you don't. But next, so my argument is you don't know what kind of beat he was rapping to in his head. You know what I mean? It could have been anything. You feel?
Well, okay.
You feel me?
I want you. No. But the thing is, it's a cappella. So if it's a cappella, there's no structure you have to stay inside of. And this is the reason why poets can't always move over and become MCs. Everybody think, yo, if you're doing your poetry, you can move into become an MC because hey, if you ill over here, you be ill over there. But a lot of them don't understand the rhythm and the ride. So because it's a cappella, I can hear it better and it'll digest better. But if I put you in a structure, which is the beat, and you can't take away from the beat, if you can't fit in that properly, then it's not going to work for me. So even if he's hearing it in his head, I got to hear him inside of it. I got to hear it. Mm-hmm. So because I mean that's for me, hip hop is beats and rhymes. Beats, rhymes, life. So if he has issues when it comes to beats, you're a good MC, probably a pretty good lyricist, but to me it won't be nothing that really like pulls my attention like that. And that to me that's always been since I first heard M back in this was like maybe when M was doing the mixtapes. This is way before he even became famous. It was an issue. I heard it back then. So he's always had that thing, which has kind of been his thing. But it's always been something I'm like, man, this cat can just get a good ride. Man, I could ride with him all day. And I think in 8 Mile, he had an excellent ride in 8 Mile, which is one of the reasons why I love that song so much. Mm-hmm. But the majority of his other things is like, it's mainly his ride. His subject matter, we always going to have cats that's a little left, come out of left field a little bit. Old Dirty Bastard has a wild subject matter, but I like Dirt. I just like it. But M with M, so it's not so much a subject matter. It's more like his ability to stay inside that beat and really ride that rhythm.
All right. Ev, you got any overrated MCs on your MB?
Woo! I feel like y'all right, man. People not gonna like me. I feel like Jay-Z has been probably the greatest underrated or overrated rapper of all time.
Now hold on. Now wait. Just give me a minute before I let you go any further. I'm gonna ask you now. Is this depend on the timestamp? Like, because I feel like you could say that about him after like.
I say throughout.
Kingdom Come. After like Kingdom Come.
Keep in mind, let's put a stamp on this. Ev has never been the biggest Jay.
No. I think to me the Black Album is the album of his that. Put like this: when Jay first came out, I thought Jay was dope. This is when Big was still around. I thought he was dope, and I was like, "Yo, I'm looking for this kid. He's gonna be kind of nice." And then Big passed, and Jay kept doing this thing. I always thought Jay was dope. He's never been as dope as he is to the world to me. Only because, and this is the reason why. Jay has never said nothing where I gotta rewind it and play it back and be like, "Yo, that motherfucker said bang, 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 bang." For me, it's never happened. Never happened.
So you've never had to rewind a Jay verse?
Jay has never said anything for me that was like, yo, let me go back and play that shit again because that shit was just ridiculous.
Wow.
That's never.
Hey.
So he's dope. He's dope, but for me, he's a little overrated.
Wow.
Because he plays it safe even more now than before. He plays it real safe. And I think at the time period where he didn't have to play it so safe, actually, you know what? Let me take that back. Because on the Black Album, there's some shit I was like, oh, that was nice. Oh, that was dope. But I feel like Jay has gotten away from that. I feel like, he's gotten to a point where he's just like, yo, I need to appeal to a whole lot more people. And if I do some tongue twist type shit, I'm gonna lose some cats. And I feel like, to me, the Black Album, no, I'll take that back. The Black Album did have some stuff I'd be like, that was nasty. But since then, nah.
All right, now let me say this, because if I want to make sure I get this right, I want to put this all in perspective. Because
and look, y'all can hit on my Twitter. It's cool. I don't look at it anyway. Blow it up.
yeah, y'all don't understand, man. This dude was prank calling me when the Mary stands was coming at me, like, yo, we gonna kill you, motherfucker. Looking at these phone numbers, like, yo, what the New York number? Like, yo, we gonna kill you. Like, Mary, we gonna kill you, man.
Man.
But here's the thing, and let me make sure I'm having this right. So I want to ask, you weren't really listening to Jay when Reasonable Doubt came out, right? Because I want to say that's when you were saying like Daylight.
I wasn't really, I didn't really listen to him too heavy during Reasonable Doubt. There was a couple joints here and there, but not too heavy. Yeah.
All right. So,
but I've listened to Reasonable Doubt since. I've tried. I've listened to Reasonable Doubt since, but it ain't. Yeah.
What?
Yo, guys, I forced myself to try to get through Reasonable Doubt. But that's me.
Here's the thing. I don't think, because here's one thing I've learned in life. I know Ev, there's no swaying him. So this doesn't, Yaw, I know you're a J dude. There's really no sense, and this is like, trying to tell a Christian Allah's better than Jesus. It's not gonna happen.
Gotcha.
These are just our perspectives. You know what I mean? Gotcha. But I think a huge thing when Ev, because Ev said this before, and I think the whole piece that I understand is there was a time when I even was fed up with a certain aspect of hip hop and a lot of murdering and stuff like that. And I just was like, I'm not listening to a lot of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? So, and so much of hip hop with me is the timing. And for me, it was listening to Reasonable Doubt when it dropped and how I felt about it. You know what I mean? So I feel like I get it. I get it. So Jay's overrated. My only thing with, oh man, when I come to New York, bro, I just want to sit down and just, listen to, let me pick 3 songs and let me just play them for you. And
can I be invited to that visit too?
Y'all basically around the corner from each other, so y'all around the corner.
I know that.
Yeah, you in Harlem, right?
I live in Harlem. I live on 124th and Lenox.
Yeah, I'm on 158 from Broadway. We got, yeah.
We gotta link up. We gotta link up. Meet
up at Jimbo's with an MP3 player. Just, I just want to play some.
Man, but that's the thing. For me, it's always been like that for Jay. Like I thought the Black Album was dope. I thought Jay would give you some dope singles here and there, but it was never enough for me to be like, oh my God, dude is just stupid. I can understand why he's successful. I think as far as popular music, he's perfected it. But for me, there's people that I would place in front of Jay pretty easily. Especially now. I just feel like now it's like I'm not sure what I'm getting now.
All right, cool. We got Jay. Yeah, do you have any other MCs?
Prodigy from Mobb Deep.
Wow.
Old Prodigy or new Prodigy?
Yeah, I was gonna say
even old Prodigy.
I feel like Prodigy is like Big Luther, Little Luther. Like, what Luther we talking?
I'm talking about from the door. I just honestly, yo, I just never bang with cuz like.
No lie.
This is not no lie. All jokes aside, this
not the word you don't like, Jay-Z. But Ev, I got you. I got something for you, okay. I got you. I got some old Prodigy. Yo. No, yeah, we got this play date. We got to just bring up. We got to do a play date.
Honestly speaking, this was not the reaction I was expecting to get when I said Prodigy's name. I cannot lie.
I'm about to come to New York for the weekend. We got to get up. Prodigy, I'm not talking about hitting from the back. I don't know nothing about that first.
No. Listen. Here's what I'll say. I want to be very clear. I just never banged with bruh like that. I never understood the fascination with him and his, like, okay, don't be wrong, he's nice. And his solo album is a pretty good album. I won't even front. The solo album he put out, I think he put it out in 2000. I forgot what it was called, but it had some joints on there. He got classic records. Let's not get it fucked up. But I just felt like his cadence always annoyed me. His flow annoyed me. Like sometimes his rhymes, sometimes the way he used to not rhyme his words just wasn't cool to me. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, what are you doing? And Havoc was giving him these monster beats, and I was just like, yo, you gotta. Not to say he wasn't bodying them, but I was just like, yo, it just didn't do it for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just never banged with him like that. But just wasn't a Prodigy fan. I just didn't get it.
I love Steve. This is why I love MCs, because they'll give you some shit you never thought about. I'm still in shock.
Yeah.
But I feel
okay. All right, good.
The funny thing is and Ev and anybody out there in the internet know I ain't the biggest Prodigy fan. You know, I mean, but yo, I think that time between Shook Ones and probably before Summer Jam.
Hell on Earth?
What happened?
Hell on Earth?
Yeah, Hell on Earth is in there. You know, because the first joint was the infamous. Then not Murder Music. Hell on Earth came next. And then the joint with Quiet Storm. So up until the time when Jay did the whole Summer Jam thing, I think that's like Little Luther to me. That's like post. I do it pre Jay-Z and post Jay-Z. Post Jay-Z, it's a wrap. Like I don't even have got a new joint out with Alchemist, and I'm enjoying it. I'm banging with it, and then Prodigy comes on, I'm like, oh fuck, like why, bro? Like so, I get the post Jay-Z, but the pre, man, oh man, I just thought P was just like just a pit bull. Yeah. You just let loose off the leash, and oh god, he had that joint off American slowly. That what was it? God.
Learning.
What?
Learn. What's it called? Learning? Is it the Learning?
Nah. It was something with this. And it was like MOBB, DEP, ACD, Burn. Let's get it. Turn around, kid tried to hit me. I backed him down with the 50-50. He had to be the thug in me. The tumble banger, come and get me. First 500 bitches free. Like, yo. I
like Prodigy. My last real like Prodigy moment is, I think it was either it's called Burning or The Learning. And he used the phrase bitching. But he wasn't talking about chicks. He used it in the real like white boy punk rock term. Bitching. And I was like, that's dope.
On Quiet Storm?
Listen, he bodied Quiet Storm. I'll give him his just due on Quiet Storm. He bodied that. He bodied Shook Ones. He bodied Survival the Fittest. Those are classic mob records.
Right.
Won't even debate that. Right. But I just never could bang with Cuz, man. I just never, this wasn't my guy.
All right, so we got all the gloves off now. We might as well just go.
Now, and Googling, yeah, like, who's your favorite rapper?
I mean, all the gloves is off. Kel, what you got?
Oh man.
All right, the next dude I got, got the hype, 50 Cent. I never thought 50 was lyrical juggernaut. Like, you know, I never got why Get Rich or Die Trying sold like 8 billion copies. Like, I remember when it dropped and I'm going to Best Buy, Sam Goody, every place was sold out. Like, you could not find a copy of that when it came out. And I just never, and to me, it's why, he's had that limited success. Like, I don't feel like he's like, after that Get Rich or Die Trying, like, I never felt like he ever is going to get back to that place of, you know, he had to start doing the vitamin water, he had to start dissing people and things like that. But I just never got the hype behind 50 Cent. I thought he was cool, but I never really saw a lot of it. Another one of the MCs I got up is Snoop. You know, when Snoop dropped Doggy Style, I was like, yo, this was deep cover, it was dope. But I mean, post the, you know, Doggy Style, I just never got, like, him having the album out right now, like, I could care less. Like, he got this Kool-Aid out, like, I'm just like, yo, I don't need, how does Snoop still rap? Why do people even still want to hear Snoop? You know what I mean? So those are two of my people. What y'all gotta say about 50 and Snoop?
Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead.
Okay. For 50, I agree. I will say pre Get Rich or Die Trying, I loved everything he put out. He put out a bootleg album. I think it was called Power the Dollar.
Okay.
It was the album that was supposed to come out when he was signed to Trashmasters, and it never got released. That joint was tough. It had a whole bunch of bangers on there, and I really banged with 50 through that mixtape phase when he finally got with G Unit right before he got the deal with Dre and Eminem. That's when I really banged with him. Like, you gotta understand, at that point I was probably 20, 21. You know, summertime. I'm living in Jersey, so we getting all the music and listen, you gotta understand, 50 had a run where it was so crazy that like everything G Unit put out, like there'd be an entire mixtape of songs from G Unit. If another mixtape had one different song, you had to go get the entire mixtape just to get the song. That's the impact he had on the game and the mixtape culture. Now, after Get Rich or Die Trying, I just kind of feel like he just peaked. He peaked at that point. That's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? He never really found his formula after that. He never really gave you anything different or anything to think about. He never evolved as an artist. And I think people just give him too much credit for that one album, though. I will say that. But it was one of the greatest. I think it's one of the greatest albums that came out.
Dope album. Don't get it twisted. I enjoyed it. And like you said, I just never rocked. The first I heard of 50 was How to Get Rich. What was it? How to Rob R&B?
Yeah. How to Rob
I think that was off the Into Deep soundtrack, like you said, when he was with Trackmasters. I never heard none of his mixtapes. I heard that, and then fast forward to Wankster. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I think it got even worse, where it's like you dissing Ja Rule for singing, and now you singing on everything. So
everything.
It kind of blew me. Ed, what was you gonna say?
50 is Roger Troutman. He is, and that's not in the bad sense. I think that 50, yes, he is overrated, but I think he's when he first came out, he did a good job of being able to be memorable in people's minds. So he had that kind of style, that he hit that kind of cadence and his melody, and what he hit, you'll just, after you turn the song off, it's still playing in your brain. He did that really well, but as an MC, he was just subpar.
All right.
So
what you think about Snoop?
Snoop, I see what you're saying. Snoop in the beginning, I think Snoop, Deep Cover, Chronic, Big Doggy Style, I think, I like Snoop during that time. I thought Snoop was dope. I think Snoop still does some stuff here and there, but I always think when it comes to Snoop, I think that might be more of an environment thing. Like, if I lived in California, I might understand him a little bit better. Because I don't, Snoop nowadays is like, I can't even really hear him like that. Not that he's whack. He's not whack. He's just like, I just felt like what he had kind of like burnt out.
All right, let me ask you y'all two a question.
Real quick before me personally, I fuck with Snoop. I got a lot. I got a few of his albums. I will say this: first album, Doggy Style's classic. He had a couple duds in between that time. He had an album before the album. He had an album called Blue Carpet Treatment that was really, 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 really dope. Really dope. Like on some real like hip hop shit. Like he had
Ups and Downs on it.
Ups and Downs is on it. The joint with Dre is on it. He got joint. I mean, that album was dope. He had dope joints. But Snoop is a guy who's gonna be able to stay in the times, stay in the culture, because he's such a big persona. You know what I mean? And people just think he's the coolest guy to be around. And he still raps and he still freestyles. He just has fun. So people are always gonna be endeared to that, no matter what age you are. He just kind of has that personality that kind of transcends through time. And that's just I always talk about Snoop. I do have the Kool-Aid album, and it's dope to me. He is crip walking all over that album, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. So that's it.
All right. The question I wanted to ask you two real quick, just real in and out from both of y'all. Do you think, does a dope MC to you have to be, all right, here's my question, because it was like, all right, boom, Snoop. You had Snoop with Dre, and then it was like, after Dre, he went to No Limit, and he got those type beats, and then eventually he found his way to Pharrell and everything like that. Do you think can you be a dope MC and lose your producer? Do you feel like you should still be able to make dope music? Does that question make sense? Like,
lose your producer that you started with?
Yeah, like if CL Smooth and Pete break up, is CL, would a dope MC still be able to make dope music without that sound? Because from a lot of people my age and East Coast dudes, I feel like are like, yo, after Dre left Snoop, it was a rap. You know what I mean? Or after such and such left, after Guru left Primo, it was a rap. Or after, so, but do you all too, and again, just real quick, yes or no, maybe a little explanation, do you all think that a dope MC should be able to lose, their producer, or be able to switch labels and still create dope music with other people? Yeah.
I think you should be able to, because you should be able to because if you're an MC, I mean, you go in the booth and people just throwing a random instrumental and you got to spit to it. I don't think that's anything different from, working with different producers. And I think it's necessary for you to work with different producers to help yourself evolve, to learn different things, learn about different like tones in your music, how to mess with your cadence a little bit, how to mess with your voice, how to inflect your voice at certain points. You gotta. I think the more people you work around, the better you get as an MC. I think you should be able to. Now, I will say there are some that haven't been able to accomplish that all the way. I don't think Snoop has ever gotten better than what he was with Dre, but I think he's gotten with Pharrell, he's gotten with Swiss, he's gotten with some of the best guys in the game and I think only those guys get enough credit for just producing is more than just making the beat. They're also helping them out with hooks and how to like sing on their beats, how to sound on their beats to make the song better and bigger than what it originally was intended to be. So I think it's necessary. Yeah, definitely.
All right.
They should be able to.
And what about you, Al?
I think a dope MC should be dope regardless of the producer that you're dealing with. And the reason why I say that is because I think for MC, the first step is the beat. The beat is the blueprint. So regardless of where that beat is coming from, you have to craft to that beat. Now, it's like a painter. If I give a painter a 3x5 canvas and I give him a wall, that painter has to be dope in both of those settings. And I feel like the beat is like that. So as an MC, just part of the tactic and the skill is understanding what you're writing inside. And this might be connect with my issues with M. As an MC with the beat, you have to understand what it is that you're getting inside of. And once you get inside of it, then you have to express yourself as an MC and be dope inside of it. If it means like flipping yourself a little bit, or like you have to be a little bit malleable. You have to be kind of like be able to be like water in a sense. So yeah, I think even if people are used to a certain sound, if you switch producers, you still have to be dope because you are an MC. You're not a producer. You're not the engineer. You're not the mixing. Like you're the MC. The same way a producer has to be dope with a bunch of different MCs, an MC has to be dope with a bunch of different producers.
You know what? We're going to have to do a show on that. And that's why I didn't want to take too long because I always feel like there's always this, and across the genres, like A. Marie just comes to mind. And her main producer, Rich Harrison, they stopped rocking with each other. And then it was like, oh, A. Marie and Rich are getting back together. Now we're hyped. Or when Ghost and them stopped doing messing with the RZA. One of the big things about Built for Cuban Links 2 was, the RZA's going to be back in pocket. So it seems like anytime we have those singers or rappers who lead at producers, like they always kind of drift off and then we get hyped, like when they come back. Like I haven't cared about Genuine since he left Timberland, and the only thing that will remotely, and they probably will even do it for me now in 2016, to listen to a Genuine, you better tell me Timberland produced, or something like that. So, but that's a whole nother show. Yeah, you got any more overrated MCs, albums, producers?
I don't have any more overrated, really. Overrated producers. I don't really have any overrated producers either. I think the guys I like are the guys I like, and I think that pretty resonates through people who I fuck with, people who listen to the same music as I do. So, nothing on that side for me. I'm done. I'm wrapped up with my bashing of people.
Now, we ain't bashing the people. Now, what about the albums? Because me and you did the joint on that before. So, you got, what's one of your overrated albums?
Overrated albums? Okay, Jeezy, what's his first album? Thug Motivation. Everybody and their mother considers to be some type of classic. I picked that joint up on 125th Street after I came to see my lady. I was driving back to Connecticut. I said, you know what? Everybody telling me it's hot. I put that shit in, and I was like, this is garbage. I didn't understand it. I just wasn't a fan. It was just garbage to me. I was like, what are y'all talking about? Yeah, this is classic. Like, and to this day, what's funny is that I like the next two Jeezy albums. I really like. I like a lot. Like the third one to me is a classic. But everybody's like, you gotta go back and listen to the first one. I tried to. Every time I listen to try to listen to the first one. Similar to Av with Reasonable Doubt. I'm just like, nah, man, this ain't it. This is not it for me. No. So that's one album. I forgot the other. I'll come back around to me. I'll give you another album in a minute. There's a few that we discussed before, though, definitely.
And for me, one of my producers, y'all already know who it is. Let me, again, thesis statement. I'm not calling this brother whack.
Come on, man. If they're going to hit you up on Twitter, they're going to hit you up on Twitter anyway.
Statement every day of my life.
Oh, man, they're going to come at you anyway. It's all good.
Right. So let me just leave peace statement. Ninth Wonder. I have never been a huge fan. Yo, I'm not hating on this dude. I have said this a million times. I want to like Knife. Why? Back in the day, they used to do these things called beat societies, and it was probably around 2001. It was right after the listening drop. He was at one in DC. I gave him a beat tape. Yo, the man hit me back the next day. It was like, yo, man, you got some shit. Like, keep doing your thing. And I appreciated the shit out of that, of getting that phone call back from him. And it's made me want to be a fan. Like, I don't know if y'all have ever done that. Like, maybe you met a rapper or a producer, you met somebody, an actor, and it's like they were so cool, you want to be a fan of them, but you just don't like their movies. It's like, yo, I want to like this dude because he was so cool. And again, it's not, I just never seen the hype. I've seen people say, hey, Mount Rushmore producers, Primo, RZA, Dre, Dilla, and Ninth Wonder. And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean Ninth Wonder is in this? Like, and I can say this. I think a huge part of the beginning was the Fruity Loop stuff. Like, now that he's on the machine, like the stuff I've been hearing from Ninth in the past 2 to 3 years, I'm really liking that. Like, his joint off of Anderson .Paak's album is actually my favorite joint on the album. So let me say,
Anderson .Paak. I didn't even know that. Which one did he do off Anderson .Paak?
Oh God, yeah, I work with it's the joints like number 6. It's like 2 which
it's
first joint.
The joint with the chick.
Mama, will you carry me? Something like that.
The one before that. There's the song that comes. It like
the waters with
Nah, not the waters. That man lived it.
Are you talking about the joint with the chick?
Hold on, let me pull it up right now.
I'm nothing without you. I think that might be. I sound like a night joint.
Nah, the season.
Seasons, okay, yeah.
It's called the season, and then it goes into Carry. So that's so. I want to do the same thing like we did with Prodigy. It's the pre-Fruity Loops and the post-Fruity Loops. I like the post-Fruity Loops more. But again, not that the dude is whack. I've just never heard a Ninth beat. And this is how I do as a producer. If I hear a beat, like I'll hear Alchemist beat, and I'll be like, yo, fuck, stop what I'm doing. I got to go to the studio, like right now. Like, that's bananas. I know
you never heard a Ninth beat like that? Did that for you?
Nah.
All right, let me ask you. I got 2 questions for you.
All right.
When you first heard about Ninth, did you hear about the Fruity Loops at the same time?
Nah, this is what happened. My man Apex was like, yo, it's this group Little Brother. They're dope. They're like the new Tribe Called Quest. They're so dope. Primo invited them up to the crib. Yo, Pete invited them to the basement. So I'm like, damn, these dudes must be bananas. I popped into listening and I was like, it's cool, but the fuck, this ain't getting you invited to the basement and everything like that. I'm like, yo, and again, for me, I know for a lot of younger cats, for them, that's their Tribe Called Quest. I had my Tribe Called Quest. You know what I mean? So again, not saying Little Brother's whack shit. Fonte is one of my favorite. Fonte is my favorite MC post 2000. It just, them as a crew, I just didn't. I didn't get the hype about it. I didn't get the hype. It's a good album, but most people hold the listening. I know people who are older than me that love the listening. I know people who are younger than me. And that's one of the few albums that I can say that people older to younger than me all love this album and love Little Brother. I've never been if Little Brother got back together tomorrow, it wouldn't mean anything. So again, not dissing dude, he's got some stuff, but I do believe that a lot of the stuff with the whole Jay-Z and him getting on the Black album is really what put Ninth into another stratosphere. And that whole story, the whole backstory of that is just not, I don't want to say it's not fair, but it's not fair. It just isn't. So, you know.
Well, I got one more. Well, I had one question. Then you said something that made me like look at you again. My first question was, you said you never heard anything from Ninth that made you want to go back. The Dollar Circulate joint, the remix that he did.
No, that is dope. Dollar Circulate, that is, I actually like Ninth's better than Dilla's.
Okay, all right. And you said that Fonte is your favorite MC post 2000?
Post 2000, yes.
So to today, he's your favorite MC out of everybody that came out post 2000.
My favorite MC, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole. Fonte is my favorite MC post 2000.
Fonte is before Kendrick?
Yeah, I have him above Kendrick.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, just personally. Like, again, I like dude. Kendrick is a monster, but you know,
there's no judgment. There's no judgment at all.
It's a no judgment zone. We're in a no judgment zone. No need to explain yourself. But cheers. So That's that. And another producer, two more producers who kind of overrated to me. When Swiss first came out, I just wasn't feeling the whole keyboard sound.
I'm still not a Swiss fan.
Over time, I've learned to appreciate Swiss. But when it first came out, because it was almost like us versus them. It was like, to me, that's where the backpackers came into the rate. Like, that's where the split came with Swiss. Because it was like, we still using these records, and Swiss was like, no more records. And, again, I felt like Jay-Z was like the mastermind behind all that. It was like, nah, we don't sample no more. We do Swiss beats. And then when it was time for the blueprint, it was like, guess what, y'all? We sample again, and then it just switched right back. And then everybody went right back to digging for soul samples again. But and then Eminem as a producer, I've never gotten a hype. I can't say I've really heard an Eminem track that I was like totally like blown away with produced by Eminem. So I don't know. Those are my producers. Ev, you got any producers before we dip into the albums?
Producers. I have an album it's going to cause some controversy. But producers, overrated producers. Nah, I don't have any. I don't think I have any overrated producers.
All right, well, what's your album then, dude? Because I got a couple of albums.
And look, again, y'all can hit up my Twitter. I don't read it. Do what you gonna do. Yo, Life After Death, overrated album.
I'm leaving. I gotta leave.
Listen, this is what I'm saying. Ridiculously overrated album. It's borderline, I don't know. It's borderline, I don't know. Life After Death, overrated album. You got maybe one, maybe two tracks on that joint.
Yo, let me pull this out.
Oh.
Please pull it. And look,
now you back with me,
I listened to it when it first dropped, and I felt the same way then that I do today.
You know what? I'm looking at this album, and I'm looking at it, and on this one, I like every single song. Somebody's Gotta Die, Hypnotized, Kicking the Door, Fucking You Tonight, Last Days, Love the Dough, What's Beef,
Nope.
More money, more problems, whatever. That was the radio song. Niggas Bleeding, I Got a Story to Tell.
Nope.
This too, the only thing I didn't really like Going Back to Cali. I didn't like Nasty Boy. I mean, I don't think this is a classic. So I'll say that. Like, when people say that Life After Death is a 5 classic, I can't give it that.
That's why it's overrated to me, because it gets made to be a classic, and I'm like, it's not. It's far from a classic. Far from a classic.
Wow, Ev. You know what, Ev? Now let me just say this for everybody. I want everybody to start looking at, because this is what you have to do with folks. You have to look at the lineage of what they're talking about. He doesn't like Jay. He thinks this is overrated.
No.
I don't know. I mean, are you?
Jay is overrated.
There's a pocket type of MC that I don't know that you rock with, like Big or Jay. So I don't know if it's.
I thought Big was dope. I think Big is a dope MC. I didn't get a whole lot of dope MC on Life After Death. Ready to Die? Yes. Life After Death? No.
No? Kicking the door?
No, but listen, Kicking the Door is a bang. That's what the problem is. It's only 1 or 2 songs on that whole album that I really even listened to. And that's literally
Long Kiss Goodnight. Long Kiss Goodnight?
No.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh my God. All right, yo, pick the weekend. I'ma just jump on 95 because we.
Come on, man.
Downfall? Oh my.
Yeah. I think that's my second one. Is Downfall. Yeah.
10 Crack Commandments. Jesus Christ, man.
Oh no. That's 3.
I mean, keep rolling, because you got more. You got more to stash, Ed. Hey, you got more to stash, baby. You got more to stash, bro. You got more songs that you like.
Story to tell, like this song is still being talked about 20 years later.
Nope. Story to tell. Nope. 10 Crack Commandments. Kicking the Door. Nope. Not Niggas Bleed. Nope.
Niggas Bleed. Oh.
Nope. I thought Life After Death was
Real talk. Here you go. This is the one that blew me away, and most people probably would be shocked that this one blew me away when I listened to it. Fucking You Tonight? Not that?
Yo, let me tell you something.
I don't even remember it. It's just
real quick.
In the dust bucket.
Real quick, Ev. Okay. I gotta breathe. This album is very dear to my heart, bro. First of all, "Fucking You Tonight" is one of the greatest songs of all
It really is.
time. Of all time.
Yo,
Hey,
I must
listen.
have played that joint back to back.
Look,
I gotta keep
Yeah. Yo, hold on, real quick. Kill. Listen, my 2 years ago, my girl bought me Beats headphones. My first pair of Beats headphones I ever had, the executive joints. The first song I listened to in them joints was "Fucking You Tonight," and you can ask her. Till I listened to that shit like 50 times in a row. That's not an exaggeration.
No,
Not exaggeration. Not exaggeration.
Dude.
Bruh, listen. First of all, the beat is magnificent. The record is magnificent. The mix is magnificent. And R. Kelly was singing like he was trying to get, like he was really trying to make a baby with somebody that night. At the end, them little what? Fucking You Tonight? Oh my god.
Bruh.
Oh my god.
Again, this is like the J Reasonable Doubt.
Can y'all hear what I'm playing? Do y'all hear
I
that?
hear it. I know every word. Every word.
I'm good.
Man.
I'm good.
All
I'm
right,
good.
let's move on. Let's move on. One of my albums is Lauryn Hill's Unplugged MTV album. I thought, for some reason, everybody.
Wait, people like that album? that got high ratings?
Yo, this is the crazy thing. I thought we had all come together as a people, like on some Black Lives Matter, and we
That's
all
a highly rated
agreed
album.
on that this was a whack album. But recently, like when Lauryn Hill was touring, like I guess a while ago on social media, it was this big hoopla. She was late, and a fan had called her on it for being late, and it got to it. And it just was, and I started seeing all this stuff about all the love that this album got, and people were talking about, oh, it was so authentic, the voice cracking, and this and that, and all of that. And I was like, yo, this just sounds like a bunch of trash to me, man. Like I don't understand how anybody could like this album.
Ev, no lie, it's easily one of the most polarizing albums I've ever, as far as reaction, I've ever encountered in my life. There are people who absolutely love that album, and there are people who absolutely despise that album. I'm telling you, I'm one of the ones that's caught in the middle. I was like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't that bad. Whatever. Yeah. But yo,
It's not a good album, but it's not horrible.
But see, here, coming off of Miseducation, you gotta understand, me and T, when that thing was coming on, it was like we was hype. It was like, yo, we gotta get home early. Yo, Lauren gonna kill it. And when she sat down with this rag and started playing the guitar and notes is all, I'm like, yo, come on, y'all. And this is what I mean. I wanted to talk about, I think, and again, I'll just say certain producers out there. I think certain people get caught up in who does what. And I wish a lot of people would stop that, because if that wasn't Lauren and that was just, live at the Apollo, some chick named Tracy, y'all would have booed her off stage. But because it's Lauren and everybody loves Lauren, and it was like, oh, it's magnificent. But if that was anybody else on the Apollo amateur night, they would have got booed. The Sandman would have swept them off stage.
Absolutely right. I feel that way about Life After Death.
You just had to come.
If it wasn't Biggie,
I tried
I would have to give it a different perception of that album.
Here's the thing, man.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
You took another shot, dog.
You definitely
like nah.
You definitely pulled the trigger on that one, bro.
I just say, if it wasn't Biggie, people's perception would be different. Perspective would be a lot.
Nah, I'm telling you. Well, here's the thing, and I can only speak for me. I think that was a dope album. I think a lot of times, I truly believe with Ninth Wonder beats, if Ninth Wonder sent an MC 30 beats, I'm sure that MC, as soon as they say Ninth Wonder, would pick. This is what I would love to do. I would love to put a lot of big name producers, get 5 big name producers, 5 no name producers, and just throw all their beats out there, and you don't know who is what. I will almost bet money that the 5 no name producers will get more beats pulled than the big 5 big name producers. I feel like so many times certain people will just pick a beat because that's fill in the bank. It's Alchemist. People used to give me hell because I used to do EPs with artists, and if it was free, I would just do loops. And people would be like, yo, why you just looping shit? But then Alchemist comes out with Russian Roulette with 38 loops, and it's like ingenious. I'm seeing reviews like, oh my God, the way he doesn't add too much to the beat, he just loops it. Or Rock Marciano, this dude's whole discography is nothing but loops. And it's like beloved. Then I throw somebody a loop and it's like, yo, where the drums? And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, yo, I don't get that. Like, I don't get that. Like, if you don't like just loops, then don't like nobody's loops. But don't be like, oh, Alchemist is a genius. But then when I loop, it's like, well, Kill's being lazy, where the drums at? Like, that burns me up. And that's a whole nother topic of people getting caught up in the names. But that's how I feel about Lauryn Hill in that album. If that was anybody else, we would have booed her off stage. Yeah, you got any other? Ev, stop shaking your head, because I see.
I'm in agreement with you. I agree.
All right, I was waiting, man. I was waiting. Yeah, you got another album?
I'm sorry, my heart is still beating heavy about this Life and Death thing. I can't lie. Yo. I'm sitting here like, I mean, I'm literally sweating, but I'll get to it. There are 2 T.I. albums that I really think that people give way too much credit for. I think King and T.I. versus T.I.P. There are a lot of just. I think I was in his time when T.I. had just. He's one of my favorite rappers. Probably my favorite Southern rapper of all time. I would say probably him and 3 Stacks. But
say over 3 Stacks?
Listen, hey, be easy, my friend. I hear you. Trust me. I hear you. I made a mistake. Hey, players fuck up. It is what it is. Ain't nothing.
I'm about to do a Jay-Z line like that's getting off the TV show with time.
No, man, but T.I. versus T.I.P. I like. He was at that stage of his career where he was peaking, just peaked. He had a song on ESPN. He was in the limelight doing movies, and I think he just got lazy. But people really love these 2 albums. I think the first one I'm speaking about, King, was backed by the first single that was called "What You Know About That." It was a big single, and I thought anyway it was following Urban Legend, which followed trap music, and I was like, T.I. is about to drop something that's gonna make the world shake, and it was very lackluster to me. But people swear by that album, and like I said, T.I. was one of my favorite artists, but he didn't deliver on them 2, and he was like caught in this space where he wasn't writing. I hate when people get to this space where y'all feel like y'all can just be Jay and Big. I'm just not gonna write my rhyme because I got so much and this is what I do. Like, listen, writing a rhyme, like actually writing it down and seeing it for what it is, it's actually like might be a little more productive in your memory and even how you figure out how you're gonna flow with it. I'm not saying you have to have it there in the booth, but there's nothing wrong with writing rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Like, people just decide they want to be spoiled and not write rhymes because I'm nice enough to do it. No, you're not nice enough to do it. You still got to go through the pecking order. You know what I mean? Still got to go through the steps. And I don't think he did that on those 2 albums. I think people are just give that way too much credit because of the production of the songs and some of the features he had too. Like he had Jay-Z, I think he had Mary on there as well. He had a whole. I mean, he was just it was a popular album. He was a popular guy, so people just loved the album, and I just wasn't a fan of either.
All right, no doubt. Ev, you got another album, B?
I don't think I do offhand. I can't think of nothing.
All right, well, I got a couple real quick. One of them, Paul's Boutique, Beastie Boys' second album. So many people hold this in such a high regard. In fact, this book that I have right here, Creative License, is talking about sampling, and it basically goes into how albums like Paul's Boutique and Public Enemy's It Takes a Nation couldn't be made right now because of sampling laws. And I mean, I get it. It was all the samples and everything, but coming off of License to Ill, which I think is one of the greatest hip hop albums ever, with that loud Rick Rubin production, to Paul's Boutique was just, I just wasn't ready for it. And to be honest with you, I've just never really felt the Beastie Boys post License to Ill because it just didn't have that License to Ill sound to it. I just never came back around to rocking with them. So that's one of my joints. Ev, what about Paul's Boutique? Did you rock with it?
You know what? I don't know enough about Paul's Boutique because I don't really remember it. To me, License to Ill was probably the Beastie Boys album that I really rocked with the hardest. Paul's Boutique, I probably know a couple of cuts off of it, but I don't know if I really sat on it like that to really give a good thing about it.
Right. All right, no doubt. And yeah, I don't want to discredit you because you're younger. I'm just assuming you didn't Like that's like 80.
Nah. I mean, listen, I was playing with GI Joes back then, bro.
I
You know what I'm saying?
ain't want to discredit you.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I always like this album's where I've gone back and listened to. Like I listened to Paid in Full. I listened to Long Live Kane. You know, I go back. You know what I'm saying? Because the OGs is like, yeah, you can go back and listen to this, and I fucks with it. But certain joints I probably just won't get to.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
The last two I got is Yeezus, Kanye's album.
yo,
And
that's the one. That is the number one overrated album of all time. I don't continue. My bad. Oh man.
I think I can speak. You're speaking vicarious. Go right ahead, bro.
Bruh, Jesus, I have never understood why and how people can tell me this is like. How people could, first of all, tell me it's a good album. Secondly, tell me it's a great album. Third, tell me it's Yeezy's best album. How? Yo, listen, it sounds so discombobulated and disorganized. The beats, the scheme. Aside from the fact, you made me a little comfortable, naming it Yeezus. I'm not the most religious guy in the world, but like you said, like. Why you have to go there? Why do you have to go there with it? You know what I mean? Like, why you have to leave my secular music alone? You know what I'm saying? Don't try to intertwine the two.
Like I always say, y'all don't do that to the Muslims. Y'all ain't making no album, from Game to all of them. Ain't nobody doing no Allah's,
Yeah.
Y'all know better. But y'all always pull that when it comes to Jesus. So, like you said, same thing. I had a problem with the title, but then, like I said again, the music, I feel like it was one of those albums that's just, it's Kanye, and Kanye could give, I don't know if y'all saw this, I think it was in New York, where they were in an art museum, and somebody put a pair of glasses on them, and they just left them there just like, for whatever, but then by the end of the day, people thought it was an exhibit, so people were taking pictures of it, and people were critiquing it, and it's like, nah, somebody just left their fucking glasses on. But I felt like that's what it is with Ye. Like, Ye is such a polarizing person that he could give you a CD with nothing but him humming, and it would just be like, yo, this is genius. Who has ever given you something with somebody humming for 90 straight minutes? I just feel like that's...
the unconditional love that people have for Kanye West, it's a little overstated. I don't understand what it is. I mean, even the sneakers that he dropped. How are people looking at me with a straight face and telling me, like, yo, these Yeezys are tough. And it's like,
yo, how did Nick Young actually put them on and play in a game with them?
And not break his ankle and tear his Achilles. Like, for real. Let's call it what it is. Those sneakers are ugly.
Yo, they're whack. They're whack.
I just have to throw this in there. I agree.
What you about to say, man?
There's one track on the Yeezus album that I think is probably, it's a different track for Kanye, but I think it's probably one of his dopest tracks, and that's Black Skinhead.
I like that record a lot. I'm with you on that. I think partly too is, I don't know why. I think Jay and Ye got some deal with movies, because I swear their music be in every damn trailer you see.
Especially Kanye, his shit everywhere.
Yeah, it's
like, it's kind of cinematic. Some of the stuff he's putting together. Well, whoever's putting together.
Right. So that was my thing with Yeezus. I do like that one. I like the joint with the soul sample at the end, with him and Kim on the motorcycle or whatever like that. And then my last joint, Electric Circus by Common.
Ooh,
when this album dropped, I was
okay. Kanye gonna blow you up. Okay, we're gonna blow you up.
Man, more death President Obama when he first started running for president. But yo, coming off of like Water for Chocolate, I was ready, and then I heard this, and I was just like, I was defeated. I just didn't know what the hell was going on. This nigga's in the goddamn video trying to talk to some deaf girl with a crocheted sweater on. I don't know what the hell's going on. He got signs. I'm like, yo, what? I don't know what the hell's going on. I know he's in love. Erykah Badu. To me, that album really truly says, stay the hell away from Erykah Badu. Because this could be you.
Don't put that on Erykah. She ain't got nothing to do with that.
Bruh, I don't know, man. Erykah told you in one of her joints, man, yo, you get with me, you either gonna change jobs or change guys. One of the two. So Common definitely had Badu had a lot, and then they broke up, and then I get the corner. That ain't no.
I feel like Three Stacks kind of.
No,
that's where it doesn't hold up.
Crazy too. He just got nicer. That's the only problem. Don't get twisted.
He was crazy like AC Aliens. He's not crazy, but he was already like on his like artistic shit.
Right. I mean, he was on his journey. But remember, other side of the game, she's in that video, which was pre-Aliens, AC Aliens. So they were already there, but Dre got doper. So yeah, before Erykah Badu, Dre was not on late night TV with football pads and a pink wig on. The problem is he was on TV with pink wig and football cleats, but he was spitting. The problem with Common is he got a crochet sweater on. Oh God, what was that? The remix? It was something off of. Was it Off Like Water for Chocolate? It was a remix for something, and he's in the video, and he's got on a crochet sweater. And it's a black back. It looked like something from the '70s. It was just it was just bad. It was a bad look. I don't know how Dilla had his name on anything to deal with that. Quest tried to trick us and say, yeah, watch, 20 years from now, it's going to be like Miles Davis' Bitches Woo. Y'all going to come back. Nigga, it's been 21 years. No, it ain't. Nah, I don't want it. I've tried. This is one of the few albums. I like Common so much, I would occasionally break out the album maybe every other year just to try it again. I can't. I literally cannot do Electric Circus, but I know people. If I'm not mistaken, y'all, you rock with it. I know people.
I rock with it, but at the time when it came out, I was just like, yo, this is a weird album, and I wasn't digging it. And I would say I really didn't dig it prior like 3 or 4 years ago. I popped it in. Actually, I would say probably a little longer than that. I lived with a guy that was from Chicago, and he had it playing in the house when I came to the crib, and I felt like okay. And then I started listening to it after that. It's actually a pretty dope album. Now, I would say it's probably one of the worst on his discography, but I think it's a decent album. I don't think it was as whack. I was so turned off by Change back then. I think it came right around the same time as 50. Get What You Die Trying right around that same time. So it was like, yo, what is this? And not only that, but Like Water for Chocolate is one of my favorite albums of all time. Only album I've gone to the store to purchase 3 times because I lost them twice. I lost once. Another dude, I let him hold it. End up missing a year later. I went to the store to go buy the album 3 times. One of my favorite albums of all time. But yeah, I mean,
and I want to change. I think my problem with, and it's why I was talking to my man about Twitter, who started this whole conversation, was I always felt like it was something about those ATL cats, like CeeLo and 3000 to me were the only people who did that weirdo hippie change shit and were successful at it.
Yeah,
like, I feel like he tried to do it and it didn't work. Like Breathing Stop and Vibrant thing, he tried with fur coats and shirt off, it didn't work. Vibrant thing, it didn't work. I feel like Common tried it and it didn't work. So I have no problem with change, but the change has to be dope. And I feel like so many artists will throw that at you like, oh, y'all just want me to stay in this box. No, I just want you to do dope shit. Mm-hmm. And if you skip out that box and skip into a square and do dope shit and skip into a circle, as long as it's dope, and I think Outkast is that. They're always stepping outside of their box, but they're always... Bombs Over Baghdad sounded like nothing you had ever heard before. It's definitely stepping out their box, but it was dope. So that's the thing. I feel like a lot of artists will be like, oh, y'all just, my fans ain't rocking with me because I ain't doing that. I'm doing this. And it's like, but is it dope? That's really the bottom line question. I can sit here today and stop sampling and try to start playing the keyboards. And then, yeah, if I send you a beat and you don't like it, I'm going to be like, yo, you ain't letting the nigga change. You're going to be like, no, my nigga, you can't play piano. So it sounds whack. Like, so that's the problem. If you can play the piano, then it's dope. Like, my man came through the other day and was playing me some beats. Ain't have no samples in it. I was like, yo, that's dope. I would never know that didn't have a sample in it. But usually I feel you on the change thing, but I do feel like some artists are always like, oh, you won't let me change. No, we'll let you change. It's just so many people only have one lane of doing something. And I get being a producer, I have a folder full of beats called 3000. Mm-hmm. These beats are not boom bap. They are just something totally off to the side. So I get not wanting to be held in a box, but I don't know if everybody has that gift to just say, hey, you know what? Like, yeah, I don't know if you have the gift to be like, you know what? I just want to sing that.
Yeah.
I just want to sing. And I'm going to sing my own choruses, and I'm just going to sing because I want to sing. You know, but if you can't sing, bro, then it's not gonna
You
be.
gotta give. If you listen, God gives you certain gifts, yo, and you have to you have to exploit the gifts. Like if He gives you the gift to sing and be able to like hold a note on a record like Andre 3000 did, cool. It's not gonna work for everybody, and that's the thing. That's the thing about it, and that's like you know you gotta find yourself. You gotta be yourself, whoever you are. You know what I mean? But if it ain't you, go back to what you was. You know what I mean? That's how it should be. You know what I mean? You try to change, cool, but if it doesn't work out, go back to what originally made you you and what originally made you great.
Right.
Always been believing.
And I mean, there are some people who pour. Most doesn't. Most can do the sing-songy stuff. He can do the Umi says, you know. Most can find say he can do it well, you know. But again, just because one person can do it, now it's like, okay, MCs, you know, they want to sing now. Everybody can't do it. Ev, what are your thoughts on Electric Circus?
You know, Electric Circus, when it first came out, I wasn't into it. I haven't listened to it since that time. But every time you talk about it, every time I get off, I'm like, yo, I gotta pull that out because I want to hear it again. I can't give it until I go back and listen to it again because I really want to see if there's something in there that I missed. Because I know when I listened to it back in the day, like the night, like whenever did this come out? When did it come out? Actually,
I would say 01 or 02, I think.
2001. I know when it first came out, I wasn't into it like that. So I kind of just turned a deaf ear to it after a while because it was one of the things I tried. I couldn't get into it, so I left it alone. But now I really need to go back and look at it again because I'm intrigued now because this is one of the albums where I get two different things. People be like, yo, it's actually an amazing album. Or people be like, you know, the way, like what you're saying, Kill, like, shit is whack. And that's just it.
Right.
So we'll see.
Tell me this to end the show. Where do they do that at? Where they do that at? Where we gotta let an album sit with us for 20 years until we like it? Like, are we doing that because we're Common fans and we're like, because normally I feel like with anything else, we listen to an album and it's like, oh, I don't like it. And then that's it. You know, there is no, let me come back out. Let me find it 10 years later and come back. It's like, you don't like you didn't like Reasonable Doubt. You ain't pulling that shit out tomorrow to be like, let me see what I'm missing. You ain't like Prodigy. You ain't pulling out, the Infamous to find out what you were missing. Why is it with this Common album and other albums? I'm just from the cloth that, yo, this shit is whack when I heard it. This shit is whack 20 years later.
I think it's okay, you go ahead, go ahead.
It's the thing of, to me, it's like, if it's whack, that's one thing. If you just like, if you just walk away like, then to me, that's enough to come back to it later on. For instance, not that I thought this album was because it definitely wasn't. But when people do the comparison between Main Ingredient and
Becca?
The first Street Rock, Mac and the Soul Brother. And I'm always like, I'm intrigued because to me it was always Mac and the Soul Brother. But funny enough, maybe 2 weeks ago, I put Main Ingredient in my car and drove around with it. And I can understand. I called Vic and I was like, yo, I understand what you're saying now. The reason why, not that I would change my position, but I understand why you would like this album more, because if you're driving around in the car with that shit playing, it creates a certain environment. It's dope. So to me, it's okay. Like, but I do that with all types of music. I do that with jazz. I do that with rock. I'll do it with gospel or soul. Like, I'll come back if it's, unless it's a straight whack.
Well, I mean,
if it's not straight, I'll come back and I'll check.
Like you said, it's almost like with Main Ingredient. Like you said, if I'm not mistaken, I think you said when you first heard it, you wasn't feeling it. I don't think you weren't not feeling it.
No. I was. Oh, we talking about Electric Circus?
Yeah, I'm talking about Electric Circus. Like with Main Ingredient, you're like, okay, well, I think it's better than Mecca and the Soul Brother, but it's not that you didn't like it or you walked away from it. Like, I'm saying if you're walking away from an album like, yo, I'm not feeling this album. Now, however that equates to your definition, if I'm not feeling something, then it's whack. Maybe that's not your definition. Like, that you not feeling it just means, hey,
you're not feeling doesn't mean that it's whack. And I think time and place has a lot to do with things too. It's like, okay, maybe the place, the position and the place that I'm in right now, I don't have an ear for. Maybe later on down the line, maybe my thoughts. Because my thing is, like, if I can't remember the album to say whether or not it was trash or it's not, that means I gotta listen to it.
All right.
And right now, if I can't answer that question for you, I gotta listen to it.
Let me ask you this: will you do that for Life After Death?
I definitely will, because I did it for Reasonable Doubt. Not that Reasonable Doubt was whack, but I've tried a couple times. Life After Death, yeah, I played it again for sure. I think I had, but I will do it again just for you.
No, I want all three of us to get together. Don't do that.
That has to happen.
Don't touch it.
I'm gonna tell you, look.
Don't touch it. Don't go to iTunes.
I can't be influenced, man. I'm gonna tell you.
No, that's the thing. It's not about me trying to sell you on this. It's just like I said, I feel like you're like, yo, Life After Death is overrated. And that's just what it is. I just don't see you coming back 20 years from now when we're 62 talking about, let me give Big another try. But you're saying like, yo, you would do that with Common, or you would do that. So I'm just trying to find out why.
Sometimes I think when it comes to albums that I don't know albums, but rappers that you really fuck with, that you really like, you're always willing to give them the shot, you know. Like you know what I'm saying.
Is it because it's Common?
Yeah, at least that's what it is for me. That's what I could definitely say it is for me.
Yeah. If it was some whack dude, I would never go back to do it again.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But like you have a belief in that person because he's exceeded expectations with albums that he's put out prior. And just like, you know what? And then you also hear people saying, you know what, it's not that bad. People, you know what I'm saying? People are in your ear, you know what? Fuck it, I'll give it a shot one more time. And then sometimes you end up liking it. But more often times than not, if you don't like it the first time,
probably won't like it. You probably won't like it again. But you know what? To add to that, he's absolutely right. Like, if it's somebody that you like, especially if they do an album that's quote unquote experimental, and if you don't feel it the first time around, I'll come back to it again. Maybe something that I hear next time around. Maybe that experimentation during that time, I wanted to hear this type of artist. I want to hear Common Resurrection, and I didn't get that. I got Common Electric Circus. Right. But maybe now that I can kind of move away from that, let me give this Electric Circus another chance. Maybe it's something in it that I can hear.
Right. Now, and that makes perfect sense. And that's all I was saying. Like, do we do it because, like we said, people do it because it's Lauren. People do it because it's...
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, definitely.
It's one of our favorites, so that's why we go back. All right, man, dope show. Ev, we're going to get a day together. I'm going to come up to NY. We're going to get some clothes and come to your crib and play some music real loud, man.
We'll play it. We're going to turn it up. You know, I'm here, you know. Gotta bring y'all come through. You right around the corner. Come through. We're gonna turn it up. And then y'all gonna see what I'm talking about once it's all over. You'll be like, oh yeah.
You gonna see what you talking about.
Hell yeah. I see what you
Ev, make sure you might want to go ahead and check your Twitter tonight. I'm pretty sure there'll be some slander on there. I promise you.
I don't read it.
Yo, I could tweet Ev like, yo, we just sold 50,000 T-shirts, bro, and that in his life. Get that shit. That ain't happening. Yeah, I'll give him all your information, bro. Tell him what you're working on.
Yeah, music, YW Music on Instagram and Twitter. I'm working on some things. Got some music coming out soon. Just grinding, man. Everybody stay safe out there. Like I said, man, stay safe, man. That's all I can offer y'all today.
Nah, no doubt. I feel that. Ev, what's good?
There is a exhibit I have up at Mokata Museum in Brooklyn. I did some experimentation with 3D audio. If you get a chance, if you're in the Brooklyn area, check it out. It's right in Fort Greene. 3D audio is basically sound with depth perception, and working on some composition for some film stuff that's not out yet. But once it gets put in the bag, then we'll talk about that. But it's only up until the 10th. So if you're in Brooklyn until the 10th, go to Mokata Museum, check it out. Shoot me a Twitter. I'll read that one. I'll read about that.
You'll read it. That's not the hate, though. I'll read
the hate, too. I'll read the hate. I'm open for it.
And y'all already know what it is with me, Kill889. I'm on Twitter. We'll make beats for food. I'm going to check y'all next week, man. Appreciate y'all.